Good evening. It's his big election promise that could benefit almost 300,000 primary school children across the capital. But Sadiq Khan's opponents are questioning how he can afford a generous pledge to offer free school meals permanently at a cost of £500 for each child every year. It's all part of his plans to make London a fairer, safer and greener city if Mr Khan secures another term in office as the Mayor of London. But his Tory rival claims he would be forced to introduce a new tax on motorists to raise enough income to cover the cost of the school meal scheme, which will amount to £500 million. Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
Angela Rayner.
The warm-up act for the Mayor's manifesto launch was Labour's deputy leader, all smiles despite being at the centre of a police investigation.
Your Mayor, who's going to win on the 2nd of May, Sadiq Khan.
Sadiq Khan chose to unveil his election pledges at a mini Labour rally in Greenwich. The audience was made up of party politicians and activists. There was no danger of hecklers interrupting or protesters disrupting as he announced his headline new offer.
If I'm re-elected on May the 2nd, we will make universal free school meals permanent for all state primary school pupils in London.
How much is it going to cost?
Well, we know this year it cost £135 million. Next year, the estimate is £140 million because we're increasing the amount of money each school receives.
So in excess of £500 million over the 4 years?
Absolutely. It's really important to invest in young people.
Khan's free meals policy creates a clear dividing line with his Conservative opponent.
I've agreed to keep it on for this extra year because the money is in place, and then we'll take a view in a year's time. Don't forget, I will also be helping people with the cost of living by taking away the ULEZ expansion on day one, which is costing those that really do not have money £12.50 a day.
The manifesto also includes a promise to keep the ULEZ charge at £12.50, a commitment to rule out any form of pay-per-mile road charging scheme, and a reheated pledge to explore a possible bid to host the 2040 Olympics.
You said this 3 years ago.
Unfortunately, the government didn't want to work with us, and it's disappointing.
If you look at his manifesto, from what I've seen, he's actually not talking very much about what he's achieved. You know, rents are soaring, people are really struggling, the tube is breaking down. A lot of those problems that have occurred on his watch, he's not really got much to say about them.
The current Mayor of London likes to talk about the fact that he's got the wind in his sails for a Labour government, but I'm concerned that the Labour government is sticking to the same fiscal policies as the Tories are putting forward and are going to continue to widen the inequality in our city.
It's unusual for a party manifesto to be published this close to polling day, but Khan's isn't the last. The Conservative manifesto is still under wraps, with no publication date confirmed as election day looms.
Well, as all the main candidates continued their canvassing today, what they said during our special mayoral debate programme a few days ago will be the subject of the late debate programme later, and Simon has the details.
It's not just the late publication of the manifestos. This has been a strange campaign on many fronts. Remember the days of candidates like Ken Livingstone and Boris Johnson touring the capital on branded battle buses, meeting voters face to face? Well, there's been precious little of that. To begin with, the Conservative candidate Susan Hall seemed determined to avoid the cameras. When she launched her campaign, the media weren't invited. As for Sadiq Khan, pretty much the only time we get to see him is like today, when he's surrounded by fellow Labour Party politicians and activists, certainly not ordinary Londoners. Well, tonight we'll be discussing how the campaign's going with a panel of politicians from the four main parties. That's the late debate here on ITV1 after news at 10.
And a full list of all the candidates standing to be Mayor of London is on your screens now. The election takes place on Thursday, May the 2nd.